Very similar questions for an agent. There's some new stuff that's happened in the space. So there's some new questions you might not have thought about asking or might not be aware of asking. One of the first ones I would ask is, what's your process for buyer agency agreements right now? If they have any hesitancy in how they respond, if they can't answer that question, if they feel really insecure, I would say that's a red flag that you want to be aware of. If they don't know how to handle that or what they want to do and how they can handle their compensation, how confident are they going to be and how good are they going to be about negotiating for you and making sure that your contract is dialed in and that your process is set to protect them. How they adjusted to the new commission environment. Look for the response again. A lot of agents are going to be leaving the business. Some already have due to some new legislation that's happened in the state in advance of a big National Association of Realtors lawsuit, which you may have heard about. If they don't know how to handle that situation and that decision that we all knew about for months was coming, Washington's way in front of it. It's awesome. We're really in good shape here. Well, good agents are in good shape here. If they don't know how to handle that, how are they going to handle surprises? What are they going to be doing to be proactive in your deal to make sure that you're not running into problems if they're not even protecting themselves and their business in that situation? And the last one, do they have a process for what to do if the seller doesn't offer compensation to them? You may know now sellers can list their house for zero buyer agent commission, right? Similar to like a for sale by owner. It's not really happening now, but this is all fairly new still. So it could start happening while you're in the process. You want to see, what do they want to do? Do they have a process for how to handle that? Are they going to show you houses with zero commission? What are they going to do to make sure that your needs get met in that situation and that you don't have surprises or have to have uncomfortable conversations later on in the process? What's their process look like if you work with them? If you do choose to engage with them, what does the process look like? How do they work with you? How do they take care of you? Same. Who will you be communicating with mainly, and when will you be communicating with them? What kind of help or support do they have? Again, are they a one person shop, which can be fine because then they're in control and they're managing everything, which has pros and cons. They also might have a support team like we have here, where it's Alex's and I's job to help our clients find deals, negotiate those deals, get them in contract. And then it's Amanda's job to make sure that the contract process happens flawlessly. Pros and cons to both ways. Understand what it is and what you feel more comfortable with. I like somebody that has a little bit of team, whether it's a contractor, lender, doesn't matter, title and escrow, inspectors. Because if somebody gets sick, there's somebody there to pick up the slack. If something happens, there's somebody there to jump in and make sure that everything continues to go smoothly. How do they like to communicate? Are they going to communicate with you in the way that you want to be communicated with? Are they only comfortable in text and you only want to talk on the phone? Or do they only want to talk on the phone and you want to text and email because you're busy and you're not a big fan of the phone? See how they like to communicate and what's effective. Again, do they work with clients like you? Are they familiar with your situation? Do they do first time home buyer stuff? Do they do luxury? Do they do second homes? Do they work in waterfront? Are they familiar with clients like you and what is unique about your situation? And when was the last time that they worked with a client like that? What's a tough deal they had? What happened and how did it go, right? See how they handle some adversity. Not every transaction is just smooth sailing all the way through. What was a tough deal that they had? What was a client that was hard for them to get a home for? How did they handle it? What did they do? What was the outcome? I have a few stories I can share if anybody wants to ask about them after the end when we're in the Q&A session. But I think that you can learn a lot about somebody in how they show up in tough times and adversity. What do they do? How do they respond? And what was the end outcome? Who do they look for in title and escrow and why? Who do they like to work with? How important is it to them? Why do they like them? I think you can learn a lot about people and how they show up by what they like to do with others, right? We often like to do things with people who are like us or similar to us. So when you see what they like about title and escrow, you might get a little insight into what's important to them or what they put value on. This is really important. They have a good list of supporting vendors and contractors if needed. Whether you're looking for brand new construction or a fixer upper, you want to make sure that they have support to help you with anything that could come up in the process. You would be amazed at some of the horror stories I have around new construction stuff and things that have happened. When I talk more about the sewer inspectors, I will tell a story about a sewer deal and why it's important to have a really good team there. And if you haven't yet, review our 10 questions guide. There's some other questions in there that are not incorporated here that can be great. You should have got it via email. If you don't have it yet, shoot us a message, let us know, put it in the chat. We'll get you that guide, and you can have that to be able to ask questions of your agents and to help screen them.